Welcome to the Week 12 Thanksgiving preview of the Amateur Hour. I'm joined by David. I'm John. Thanks for tuning in. We had one view on last video, so we're going to try to beat it with this one.
Let's go
Uh,
for two, baby.
go for two. Only up,
Analytics.
only up from here. So thanks, Dad, for watching that last video. Dave, do you want to get into? We got a lot of Thursday. This is a busy week for the NFL because it's like 3 games Thursday, 1 game Friday, and then the normal Sunday, Monday slate. Um, do you have a lock you want to get out there real
Are there
quick?
buys this week?
There has to
I would,
be.
I would assume there's buys, yeah, because
There's got
week
to
eight
be.
they had no buys, so I would assume there's not going to be two different weeks where there's buys. But yeah, it's a great week in NFL. Like you said, it's busy, a lot of good matchups. But I'm going to go with the Thanksgiving special as my lock. I'm going to go Cowboys -11 at home against the Commanders. So when I think of Thanksgiving, I think of Detroit Lions football and I think of Cowboys football. And I think both those teams always play at home. So at Dallas, on Thanksgiving is always just a tradition. You got to bet the Cowboys. You got to take Cowboys -11. Plus, on top of that, they're playing really good football, and the Commanders just lost to a pretty measly New York Giants team. So I'm going to go Cowboys, ride that wave by 11 points this weekend.
What is that kid's name? Is it Tommy DeVito or
Tommy
who's it?
DeVito, yeah.
He had 3 touchdown passes. What a game.
I
What a
know. Well,
man.
that's embarrassing for the Commanders because Tommy DeVito is not a good quarterback.
He was throwing some dimes, dude. He looked like a freaking starting caliber quarterback. But
I can
yeah,
say that was not one of the games that I was tuning in for.
yeah, I didn't watch it either. I'm gonna
And I was,
go.
and sorry to interrupt, but I was pissed because I had bet money on the Commanders. So that made me even more furious.
That's what fucked it up. That's what messed the universe up, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to go Titans -3.5 at home against the Panthers. I just think the Panthers are abysmal, and I think that the Titans have a really good run defense. So it's really just going to be up to the defense to lock down Bryce Young, old ass Adam Thielen. I think they have Jonathan Mingo,
Some
maybe.
weeks, some weeks you're raving about Jonathan, what's his name, Adam Thielen, and then now you're just like shitting on him, saying he's too old.
Well, he's
What is
balling
it? You got to
out,
pick
but
pick one or the other.
damn, like he's 33. You should be able to slow him down a little bit, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
Definitely impressive what him and Tyler Lockett are doing, though. Keenan Allen as well, like very good guys. Guys in their 30s still the wide receiver one on their team, like elite fantasy receivers. So,
Old heads can play. How old is DeAndre Hopkins? He's got to be like 31 or 32, I would think.
mhm, I would guess 31. Yeah,
All right. Yeah,
but
so
he hasn't
another
had as
great old
great of a
boy.
season. Honestly, Adam Thielen, I think, is one of the surprise because you could draft him in like the 10th round of fantasy drafts,
Yeah, he's played
probably.
really well. It just helps that they have like no other solid tools. I just can't believe that they would like as a franchise. I know hindsight's kind of 2020, but like even in the moment, I was thinking like if you're gonna trade up like a haul to go get a quarterback, why would you give away your number one wide receiver? Like, so they give up DJ Moore to the Bears,
Yeah,
and then you're leaving this number one quarterback with like nothing, like no tools. Like Adam Thielen's your number one guy. Like that's a
they knew,
problem.
dude. They knew Adam Thielen was the number one.
Yeah, but that's a problem because Adam Thielen's not a number one. That's why the Vikings got rid of him, is because they were like, he's not even good enough to be our number two by our standards.
Yeah,
So that's a huge red flag. I think there's a couple head coaches that need to be axed in the NFL, either midseason or definitely at the end of the season. So Carolina has one of those. So
yeah. I don't understand why Frank Reich keeps getting a job. Is he just like friends with all the owners, or like he has
I
whiskey with
think
him?
it's some sort of, yeah, it's got to be some sort of like ownership ring where you just kind of keep giving these guys second, third, and fourth chances.
Yeah, and he stinks everywhere he goes. Look at also, I don't know if we touched on this, but the Bill Belichick coaching tree sucks ass too. No matter where those guys go, they always suck.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's kind of surprising. Yeah. Because you look at like Nick Saban's coaching tree or Sean McVay's coaching tree, and these guys have Andy Reid's coaching tree. Like it's just littered with good coaches. And then you look at Bill Belichick, who's probably the greatest coach of all time, and he has like terrible coaches that come from his organization.
Tom Brady put him on his back, unfortunately. We discussed this.
Yeah,
Tom
I
Brady's
think you're wrong,
also,
but
real quick, I gotta say, I saw a video. Tom Brady's shitting on the NFL's product. He said it's just not exciting. He said it's a lot of mediocre talent. And to me, all I hear is, "Oh, I'm not in the league anymore, so it's not exciting anymore." Like that's what I hear when I hear that.
Well, I think you're also just a little bitter because like you're one of those anti-Tom Brady guys, and I love Tom Brady, and I think I agree with him because I was just debating quarterbacks with my old roommate group chat because people were shitting on Justin Herbert, and obviously I have bias towards Justin Herbert, so I'll go to war for him. But I was arguing that he's a top five quarterback, probably number five, and they were saying he's not even close. So I was arguing that the quarterbacks in today's NFL are mid, they're mediocre. There's there's inconsistency. So you look at these quarterbacks and you have to just pick the guys that are consistent more often than they're not. Like there's guys that have crazy talent, like Trevor Lawrence, but he's way too inconsistent to be like up in the top five for me. You look at Justin Fields, too inconsistent. Incredible talent, too inconsistent.
Dog, they're all extremely young. Like, how many of these guys are over 30?
I get that, but at the same time, like how many of these quarterbacks are over 30? So you have to rank who you have to rank right now. You know what I'm saying? Like we weren't talking about futures, we were talking about right here, right now. And I think Herbert's one of the top five talents.
No, I agree with that, but I just think that saying that the NFL puts out a mediocre product is just, I don't, it's
But he's
just,
not wrong. Like you said, these guys are young. These guys don't have a lot of experience, which is true. Like what was it? Probably more than 5 years, but let's say 5 years ago, we were watching NFL and it was every Sunday you get to see Big Ben, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew
Eli
Brees,
Manning.
Eli Manning, prime Aaron Rodgers. Like it was a whole different beast, man. Like Philip Rivers, like these quarterbacks that have been in the league for years and years and years.
No, don't say Philip Rivers.
Philip Rivers is one of the best quarterbacks of all time,
No,
John.
and
Yes, he is.
dude, Ben Roethlisberger was not fun to watch the
Big Ben's
last
one of
like
the best
3 years,
quarterbacks of all time, John.
but he
I'm not
sucked the
talking.
last year.
I'm talking about prime, like let's say 10 years ago, because 5 years ago, you're right. I mean, no, all these guys were like on the end of their career. Probably the only good ones were like Tom Brady, um, and maybe Drew Brees. So and Aaron
Oh yeah, I
Rodgers,
forgot about Drew
obviously.
Brees. Yeah, that
So
was good.
rewind 10 years, all these guys are studs. So that's like eight quarterbacks I just listed off the top of my head that are putting up 300 yards and three touchdowns every single week. And this week, you're terrified to like start anybody in fantasy because someone might take a shit for you in the time that you need them the most.
I don't know. I'm just telling you, I disagree with Tom Brady. I think he's just like he's an old man and he's looking at it. He's not in the league anymore. All his pals are not in the league anymore. And so it's like a boomer thing. Like it's an old retired man saying, yeah, kids these days, they just don't work as hard. Like that's exactly what it sounds like.
I would agree with what you're saying if Tom Brady wasn't 1 year out of the league. Like it's not like he's been
That,
out for 10, like 20
but
years.
that's what's wild. 1 year and he's already shitting on it. He didn't like look at the last year he was in. He didn't say shit about the league that last year.
But the first thing he brought up was coaching, which I don't disagree with. He was like, there's
Yeah,
just like a lower threshold for good coaches now.
that's fine. I agree with that. But like him saying that the talent isn't as good, I feel like these wide receivers that are drafted are balling out their rookie years.
I don't think he said talent. I think he said preparation and like the upbringing, like the preparing them for the next level kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of busts and there was always a lot of busts, but like I think like these freak talents aren't panning out to be what they are, mainly stemming back to that coaching problem. We
All
have
right.
NFL teams have 100 coaches and like somehow they still make these dumbass mistakes.
Yeah.
Players aren't prepared for games. They can't get 11 men on the field like that Bills Broncos game. Like it's just like all these problems. And I think he's just frustrated with what he's watching. I don't know if he's lashing out, like you said, but
It's a boomer.
I
It's a
don't
boomer
completely
take, dude.
disagree with it.
It's a boomer take. But do you have a fantasy stud for this week?
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Don't take mine. Don't take mine. Don't take mine.
I won't. I'll go Christian Kirk. I'll tell you why.
Hmm.
They play the Houston Texans. It's going to be a shootout, I think. I was going to take Calvin Ridley, but I have him on my fantasy team, and he has been no less than a roller coaster all season long. So I know if I took him in this podcast and I started him in fantasy, he would take a shit again. So I'm going to take Christian Kirk because I think I'm going to start Calvin Ridley and Christian Kirk is going to be the number one featured guy this week. But I think anywhere you look in the Jaguars wide receiver tight end corp and anywhere you look in the Houston Texans wide receiver tight end corp is going to be a solid pick.
Texans and Jags. That's a game this week.
Good game, yeah. Good
Yeah,
game.
that
Good
should be a
matchup.
good one.
Division rivals.
I like that pick. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna keep him on my bench, so he'll probably play very well. I'm gonna do a tight end actually, Jake Ferguson, tight end for the Dallas Cowboys. I think their over under total for that game is like 48.5 points. And like you said, they're 11-point favorites. So Vegas is expecting them to score at least 4 touchdowns. So I think he gets one of those, maybe 4 to 6 catches and 60 yards. So I think he'll have a good day. Prime time, dude. Jake Ferguson loves prime time.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna start him. Speaking of that, I had the over last night, the Monday night game, and that was just like
Wasn't close, was it?
just a knife to the chest. No, I mean it was I had 45 and a half, okay, and it was at 38. And first of all, in the first half, they had two interceptions back to back in opponent's territory. So like long drives that end with an interception. So those are
Yep.
just brutal for the over. Then you go to the second half. First of all, Chiefs didn't score in the second half. That's tough on the over.
And they are the lowest team I saw in
In
the
the
league.
second half. Yeah. 3 games in a row they got shut out in the second half, I think I saw.
That defense is incredible, though.
Yeah, but Matt Nagy is toxic to that team. They need to get him out of there.
He's the coordinator, right?
Yeah, Matt
Yeah.
Nagy is an illness, and you need to get him out of your
Yeah.
organization.
Why didn't they call you and ask you, dude? You could have told them, no, don't hire him.
I could have, yeah. If they called and asked for my advice, I would have told them steer away from Matt Nagy because he is a team locker room cancer.
Yeah.
But what was I saying? Oh yeah. So then it's at 38. They threw that deep ball to Marquez Valdez-Scantling, ex-Packer, busted, terrible hands, drops it in the end zone. Would have been a touchdown. Then it would have went to 40. I had 45 and a half. I needed 46. It would have went to 44. Then they would have been up 5.
4
Correct.
points. 3 points. 3 points.
They would have
lost
been
by
up
4.
They would have been up 1 point, so they would have had to go for 2. So they would have went for 2, and if they got 2, then it would have hit the over. But anyways, even if they didn't hit the over, then the Eagles would have had to score, and it probably would have hit the over then. So that was just heart shattering, terrible, disappointing.
I got to talk about that throw. I know it hit him in the hands, but he didn't make it easy on Marquez. Like when it first came off, I'm like, damn, that is far out there. When I was watching it, I was like, whoa, did he sky that? And I was impressed that even was able to catch up to it and touch it.
Well, that's because you have millennial mindset, you have participation trophy mindset. John, this is an NFL wide receiver that makes good money. It hits him in both his hands in stride. I know you don't like to see it, but it was almost a perfect pass.
Not
And it was
no,
it
no,
was
no, no.
the only thing I'll give Marquez Valdez-Scantling is the weather. It was raining, it was slick, but the ball hit him in both hands. It was a great pass. He should have caught it.
A lot
We
of
saw
drops.
a couple bad drops this week. We
Lot of
saw
drops.
that catch. We saw Quentin Johnson and Green. Were you at that game or was that a Milwaukee game?
That was a Milwaukee game, but I did want to say I think I picked him as my fantasy stud, and I think that's why he didn't catch that ball. Otherwise, that was an effing touchdown.
You didn't pick him. You picked him in week 10.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, but he should have caught that. That was a good ball from Herbert.
That
And
was a
then
good one.
in the Bears game, it wasn't as noticeably a good ball, but if you watch the film, he threw a deep ball on that 3rd and 10 to Travis Scott, the rookie, and he slowed down and then tried to speed back up and catch it. He slowed down for no reason. So if you watch it back, like it would have been a great pass and it would have been probably a touchdown. But so that's 3 huge drops. So maybe that's kind of what Tom Brady's like watching or frustrated with. I don't know.
I got to say, though, Twitter is brutal to these 22-year-old kids that just are playing their first year in the NFL.
Yeah, I
Like
think Quentin Johnson said after he got drafted, like, "Oh, my mama doesn't have to work anymore," and then people just were like commenting under the video, like photoshops of his mom, like at Whataburger or something, or like a McDonald's application, like, "Hey, she needs to get a job" or something. So,
But it's
I don't.
like everyone knew when they drafted Quentin Johnson, he was a developmental guy. Like I think they reached for him a little bit, but anyone that was expecting him to come in and get 1,000 yards receiving,
Yeah, but that's like what he's supposed to be good at. Like that's what you drafted him for. Like people were saying he's not a good route runner. He just like runs deep and catches deep balls, which if you watch at TCU, he does a lot of that. So I was surprised that he dropped it because he did that all the time in college. He would catch those deep balls and like change the game in one play. So when it hits him in the hands, you're like, wow, this is like we drafted this guy to make plays like this, especially with Mike Williams out.
and Keenan had a couple drops too. I don't know if you saw that because the Chargers aren't used to playing in the cold, and that fucks their fingies up. Their fingies
Yeah.
get a little too tight,
I think the boys' fingers were tight last night. Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad last night, but that's not a game like that in fantasy. If you can see the weather and it's going to rain like that, that is a tougher It's just a tougher environment to catch a slick football in, you know?
Yeah, when I bet the over, it was on like Sunday morning at 10 a.m. I didn't know that the weather was going to be like that. It was steered away, and it was one of those bets that I accidentally bet it twice, so I doubled my losses on that one. So that sucks.
How many units down the turlet?
That's a 4 unit turd flush right there.
Damn, dude, damn.
Yeah,
That you might not recover.
still in the green on the weekend though for my college bets.
Oh, nice work. So you were hitting the college, huh? Hitting it
Yeah,
hard.
hit the college, hit it really well, and then NFL lost most of my profits from Saturday.
That's how it goes. The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh.
And I was pretty close in the pick 'em this week, but Chiefs let me down, and a couple other teams let me down at last second. So
Oh yeah, quick shout out to Evan Kochever on his second or third win.
yeah, Evan, yeah, we're all getting tired of it, but this guy is just like the sharpest of sharps, man. I can't
Dude,
believe this guy. And
I was
Taylor
looking
Swift,
at
shout out Taylor for being close.
yeah.
Taylor
I
McCall, excuse me.
I was looking at it and I think he's gotten $550 on the season.
Yeah, I mean, this is like a side hustle for him at this point. It's passive income. It's bullshit.
It's like 25 people getting scammed every week
Yeah,
out of their money.
it's like I'm donating $10 to charity, and the charity is just rerouting to Adam Kochever to Evan
Evan.
Kochever's bank account.
Yeah, just probably to get a cocktail in Los Angeles. One
Yeah,
cocktail, one beer.
yeah. This pays for his water bill every month, probably. Winning 4 times a month.
Is there a game that you're looking forward to? Let's just stick with Thanksgiving. They're not
Just
good. They're
Thanksgiving
not
Day,
tight
yeah.
spreads.
Here's Thanksgiving Day. I'm actually excited for that late game. 49ers Seahawks. The
Yeah.
problem is going to be Geno Smith's health. I think if he's not healthy, then it's going to be 49ers in a blowout. I think if he's healthy, it makes it a little bit more exciting. I think it's in Seattle, so that helps a little bit. The 12th man is going to be out and ready to rock and roll. So we'll see. I hope Geno's healthy just for the sake of watching football with your family. Like I think that's going to be probably the best matchup. But Packers Lions could always be exciting too. I mean, the Packers have been playing a little bit better lately, so we'll see.
Yeah, I was reading this morning and it looks like Pete Carroll came out and said, which Pete Carroll isn't always very transparent on this, but he's pretty certain that Geno is going to play Thursday.
Okay, that's good. I was worried with the quick turnaround if he was going to be able to bounce back.
Right. I think that hit was Donald, wasn't it? That popped him in the arm or something.
Yeah, I think so. He hit him pretty good, and
yeah, I agree with you. I think that I don't know. It's cool that they're all division rivalries, and I think division rivalries sometimes stay close. You know, even though these spreads are big.
Yeah, they're all division rivals, so that's good. That's good to have those matchups. Sometimes it's like random matchups, and you're not as interested, but it's always good when it's like Bears Lions or Packers Lions, and then Cowboys Eagles, Cowboys Commanders, Cowboys Giants. So it'll be good. Couple good other games this week I was looking out for is some Sunday games. We have an afternoon game of Bills at Eagles. So that should be a good matchup. The Bills really need to buckle down and start winning some games. Otherwise, they might miss the playoffs if they mess around too much. It helped them a lot that Joe Burrow is going to be out for the season, so they can kind of take the Bengals spot. I don't think the Bengals really stand a chance anymore. But that's going to be a good matchup, I think. AFC, NFC matchup. Beginning of the season would have been a Super Bowl preview, but I don't think that's going to happen now. And then another one I like is Sunday Night Football, Ravens Chargers. So should be an exciting game, kind of prolific offenses with some good playmakers on defense. So I think that should be an exciting game at LA and I'm a little bit biased because I like watching both of those teams. I like Herbert. I like Lamar Jackson. So should be fun to watch.
Also, back to the Tom Brady comment. I think Lamar Jackson is way more fun to watch than Eli Manning.
No shit. Who said? When did he ever say that?
Well, he said the talent is lacking.
He didn't say fun to watch.
I'm just telling you.
But Eli Manning is probably I don't want to put a number on it now, but top 25 quarterback of all time.
2 Super Bowls, more than Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I will say another thing, which I do agree with. I would say Brady has this going for him. There's been a lot of starting quarterbacks that are fun to watch that have gotten injured this year. So you're watching their turd backups.
A lot of backups, yeah.
Right? I mean, like,
who do you have? Kirk,
Aaron Rodgers,
Joe Burrow,
Deshaun Watson. He wasn't playing well, but I mean, he still was supposed to be good.
Yeah, you're right. Move it away from your face a little bit. There you go. Yeah, there's too many. It's buzzing too loud when it's too close to your mouth when you're sucking on it.
Okay. Like a sucker.
Yeah.
Do you think I could fit it in my mouth?
I don't want to watch that.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, there's been a lot of injuries. You're right, and that's been a disappointing product. Like, every time I see the Jets on TV, it makes me want to throw a rock through my TV because I hate watching Zach Wilson with a passion.
Well,
And for some
you're in
reason,
luck. Did you hear what's
yeah,
happening?
I heard he's third string now. Just that
Tim Boyle is going in, baby.
yeah, well, that might be worse. At least the Zach Wilson experiment is like it's like a roller coaster. Like he does make some crazy plays and make some terrible plays. Like
Yeah.
Tim Boyle is just going to be like a turd that gets 3 and outs all day long. I
I,
feel
I
so bad for that defense, man.
oh, they're carrying it. I gotta say though, shame on the management of the Jets for not going out and getting someone else to back up fucking Zach Wilson. Like they did this experiment last year and it sucked. And they put in that Mike, what was his name? Mike White. That the team liked him better. They were wearing the Mike White t-shirts. And this year they say, oh no, Zach's learned really a lot from Aaron Rodgers, which he probably has, but it's not there mentally, I don't think. You
No,
know? It's hard. I mean, it's hard. That's why very few people can do it, but you knew last year that he was not it. That's why you got Aaron Rodgers. And then he goes down.
especially after he gets hurt is where I see the biggest problem.
Yeah, you got like 7 weeks to find, shit, I'd rather have Jameis Winston.
Jameis, you always say Jameis.
Jameis. Oh, also, just quick off topic. Did you see that injury to that Florida State quarterback?
Yeah, broken leg, Jordan Travis.
Oh, that
Prayers up,
was
man. That
terrible, man.
sucks.
He like got it rolled on and he came up and his like left foot was going
Yeah,
sideways.
almost like a Kevin Ware incident. Like I think unfortunately for Florida State too, I think you see them knocked out of the playoffs with that injury. I think if it comes down to like a winless or a undefeated uh
Washington.
undefeated Washington, undefeated Florida State, I think Washington edges them just because of like the committee does look at what I like about the committee is they look at like teams' potential and a team's backup quarterback, their potential drops tremendously. But what helps them is that Ohio State, Michigan play this week, so one of those teams is going to have a loss. I there's to be a team, but I could see it going the other way. I don't know. We'll see. The Florida State has to play Florida this week, but Florida has a backup quarterback because Graham Mertz is out. Shout out Maya Mertz, and then so they should probably win that. And then they play in the ACC championship against Louisville. Louisville's pretty decent, but Florida State's a better team overall. So
Yeah.
we'll see. I hope Florida State loses one of these games so that it's not a discussion and they kind of just get knocked out because I don't want to see Florida State in the playoff without Jordan Travis.
I I watched a little bit of that Washington game because who did they play? Oregon State.
Yeah, Oregon State.
I like watching lefty quarterbacks throw.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. It's refreshing. Like watching Tua play.
Yeah, it's different. It like gives you a different outlook. It's rare, There's like
Yeah.
just a majority of them are righties, and I don't know why that's a thing. I think maybe just because the percentage of righties in the world are much higher.
Yeah, I think
So
that's
like the
all it is.
percentage that work out. I mean, it makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, it's just I don't know, it's just a refreshing it's refreshing, like having a Sprite.
Sure. Yeah, a McDonald's Sprite.
Yeah,
Like it
exactly.
slaps a little bit different.
Yeah, just a little different. It comes out a little different. I feel like their throwing motions are a little bit different than right-handed quarterbacks, so it's fun to watch.
Watching lefties is like when you chew five gum. Do you remember those old commercials?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Tingling. You get that
Yeah.
tingling sensation.
Yeah.
Um, can we talk about the playoff race quick?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's talk about it. Sure.
Let me just pull it up. Basically, it's pretty set in the NFC unless the Vikings start shitting the bed and the Rams start shitting the bed, and then one of these other turd teams comes out. Okay. So NFC. Eagles are locked in 9-1. Lions are pretty much locked in at 8-2. 49ers are 7-3. Not quite locked in, but damn close. And then the Saints are 5-5. So that division is wide open. And Cowboys are the first wild card spot at 7-3. And then Seahawks are the second wild card spot at 6-4. Vikings are the third at 6-5.
That was a huge like two huge games this week with Thursday, like the bookends, Thursday night football and Monday night football, because the Ravens took the 1 seed in the AFC.
Yeah. Yeah, it was and then last night it kind of like cemented the Eagles. I think it's going to be really tough to knock them off of that first round bye, you know?
Yeah,
Because they
after the
basically,
49ers slid, with those 3 losses in a row.
yeah, and the 49ers don't have like, I don't think they have an easy schedule because I think the Seahawks and Rams, I understand they don't have the best records, but I think they can pull some out of their ass, you know?
Yeah.
Better than so the Eagles the rest of the way. I think they play the Giants and the Commanders and obviously the Cowboys, but I don't think the Giants and Commanders can pull a surprise win out as well as those other teams in the
No,
NFC West. Oh, and the
hell
Cardinals
no.
with Kyler Murray, sometimes they can be a little surprising, you know?
Yeah, they can be sneaky.
Yeah.
Actually, that Giants win was big against the Commanders was big for the Bears draft pick because I was predicting the Giants to end up getting the first overall pick after Daniel Jones went out, and Carolina Panthers continued to suck, and the Giants just won that week, so that
You
helps the
should
Bears a lot.
you should be rooting for Tommy.
I should be rooting for Tommy. Yeah, Tommy TD, Tommy
TD
DeVito. Come
baby.
on, the Italian stallion.
Yes. And actually outside looking in, the Packers are the first ones out.
I was gonna say the 8 seed right now is the Packers, just one team out, so they're on the bubble, and they play the Vikings one more time. So yeah, how do you feel about the Packers? You think they're gonna squeak into the playoffs?
No. But I do it was fun to watch them. They have lost a lot of close games. The only one they really got. Oh, there were two they looked abysmal. The Vikings really beat them bad, and then
Yeah,
the Lions beat them bad. But these other teams, they've been able to keep it close. Even when they went to Pittsburgh, it was kind of a close game.
Pittsburgh
Um,
suck.
yeah. So what I would love to see happen is maybe they don't make the playoffs, but I'd love to see them either beat the Lions or the Chiefs. Just win one of those the next 2 weeks. I think that'd be a huge confidence booster going into next season. And playing the long game.
Would you rather get a playoff game and lose in the first round, or at this point lose the rest of your games and get a good draft pick?
Win out, dude. They're a young enough team. Like I just think it would be good for the confidence
You
of
don't
the.
think there's big gaps in talent that you need in the draft?
Mm, maybe running back, but there's not really good running backs. I don't.
You don't need a running back in the first round anyways.
Yeah. I don't know about their offensive line. I don't know how good that's been. It hasn't looked bad, but I don't know.
You guys probably need a quarterback
I tell you what, though, I'm inviting you to when they get David Bakhtiari off the team. We're having a celebration.
off the team.
Yes, because
Why is he just hurt all the time?
yeah, dude. They paid him like 24 million a year, and I think he's played like the past 3 years. He's played 10 or 12 games.
Yeah, he doesn't play a lot. He just had a bad take over the weekend too. He said like college
College
football is a
football,
bad
yeah,
product.
like that's where you're at in your career. It's just like
Yeah, that's a boomer take right there. It's like, first of all, dude, you came from college football. Second of all, like you haven't played NFL football in weeks. Third of all, like everyone loves college football. Like we
yeah,
know it's an inferior product to NFL, like player
obviously.
wise, obviously, because it's professional versus amateur. But like it's way more fun to watch, I think, like with traditions and matchups and excitement and Heisman candidates and blah blah blah. Like I'm not I guess I said way more exciting than NFL. That's not true, but it's like to say it's like a terrible product is a terrible take.
I agree, and that's where he's at in his career. He has literally nothing to do besides collect his paycheck, and I'm a part owner, so that pisses me off. He collects his paycheck, sits on his ass, and tweets about college football that it sucks.
Yeah.
Like what? You're
Yeah,
not
he's
even
just
like
bored. He needs to get in the weight room, get
gone.
in the training facility and get back on the field, man.
And and then he always like anytime someone gets injured on turf, he's right on Twitter complaining about how dangerous turf is, like when his boy Aaron went down. But then, right in front of his stupid eyes, Kirk Cousins tears his Achilles on the natural grass of Lambeau, and there's just
Probably doesn't say a
cricket.
peep. Yeah, probably
Doesn't Yeah,
doesn't say a
crickets.
word.
It's like, yeah, where's your stupid evidence that turf is so
That's
dangerous?
the thing. I think there's data like supporting that it's no correlation between the like what field they're playing on and
Yeah.
injuries. People just the turf ones are always in prime time, and people are like, Damar Hamlin dies on the field, and they're like, turf man, they got to change that turf man. If he was landing on grass, that heart
Oh,
would have been pumping like a sieve.
Yeah, it's a kind of like a conspiracy theory type deal. People don't want to believe that just unlucky shit happens. And so they want something to blame, like the idea that there's a cure for cancer out there, but drug companies don't want to release it.
Um,
Similar to that.
yeah, let's not get into that. Anyways, I think they are trying to ban the hip drop tackle. Did you read that?
Yeah, I don't quite, it looks like a tackle to me.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard to ban, and it's going to be really hard for players to tackle players if it gets
That are
banned.
bigger.
But it is like a tackle that injures a lot of players. But what are you supposed to like? What are you supposed to do? I mean, it's already like you might as well. I could. The NFL is going to eventually turn into just flag football, like they changed the Pro Bowl to flag football, and the Olympics is going to be flag football. Maybe
Yeah.
you'll see the NFL and college change to flag football because you can't hit people hard, you can't hit people high, you can't hit people low, you can't hip drop. So, what are they supposed to do?
Yeah. I I've always wondered what would happen if they played without helmets? Would it
Yeah, I
change
mean,
how they tackle?
it wouldn't stop any hip dropping. I promise you that.
Yeah, no, I don't think
And
so.
it
I've
would,
always
and
just wondered because they play rugby without helmets, and that's
yeah,
pretty physical.
they also don't have shoulder pads or anything in rugby, right?
No, no.
So you think tackle football how it is now, but with no pads.
I just wonder what it would be like. Like, would there be more injuries, less injuries? Because they would have to, it would force you to play a certain way. You couldn't always lead with your head
No,
when
you
you're
die.
blocking, unless you're like, you get some demented people that don't care about their health, I suppose.
Yeah, I think if you watch rugby, like they have way better like form tackling than
Yeah,
like football. They just spear people like and
right.
use their helmets and use their stuff as like weapons. Where like if you don't have that, you're gonna have to do a lot of more like wrapping up and like breaking down and form tackling instead of like just like lunging your body and like trying to use your head to just like destroy somebody.
Right. Did I say that? Did I say my fantasy stud of the week?
Yeah, you did. You said
Oh yeah,
Jake
Turd
Ferguson.
Ferguson. That's right.
Yeah.
There was
Who was
one
your
other.
lock? Did you say a lock?
Yeah, Titans.
Oh yeah. I didn't write it
Um,
down. Titans -3.
yeah, -3.5.
Who do they
Yep.
play?
Uh, Carolina
At
at
home
home.
versus Carolina. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, not a bad one, right?
No, no, not a bad pick. I think that could.
Nice.
I was looking at that one. I could just easily see Tennessee winning by 3. So I don't know.
Let's quick cover the AFC playoff picture. The Steelers currently are in. Texans are in. Browns
Steelers are
are in.
so miserable to watch, dude. I hate
They
Kenny
fired
Pickett
Matt
with a
Canada
burning
though.
passion. I know they did, but Kenny Pickett sucks. I think that was a terrible draft pick. I think he was boosted by having playing against bad defenses in college in the ACC and having Jordan Addison as his receiver, who was head and shoulders better than any other like wide receiver in college. And then that you just watch him now, and it's just so disgusting to watch. And he lost me money this weekend, so that's part of my rage. But Kenny Pickett, like the Steelers are good. They have a good coach, Mike Tomlin. They should never get rid of him. And then you have like this just they have talent around Kenny Pickett, and he just has these little whopper hands that he wears these gloves for, and he still just cannot throw the ball successfully.
So you're out on Kenny Pickett.
I'm way out on Kenny Pickett.
I
I
think a
hope he proves
team.
me wrong, but
So
it's a
you think
disgrace to watch.
So you think they're eventually because they have a tough schedule, right? They got the Browns, I think, or no, they just played the Browns. So I don't know who they have next week. But
They're gonna have a tough schedule with the AFC West for sure. I mean, but two of the teams
AFC
in there
North.
are the Brown AFC North, but they have the Browns and the Bengals who both have backup quarterbacks now. So that's gonna be a little bit of an advantage there for the Ravens and the Steelers.
Yeah, the Ravens are definitely going to run with this now, just because Lamar's
I
not
would think
hurt.
so,
Knock
yeah.
on wood, knock on wood. Please don't
I would
hurt.
love to see the Ravens like win a Super Bowl, honestly.
Yeah, I agree.
How about the Texans though? How about that turnaround from them? They're 6-4 in the 6th seed right now. I
Hey,
mean,
you're preaching to the choir. What did I say about CJ Stroud at the beginning of the year?
John, if you look back, I was on CJ Stroud before you were on CJ Stroud.
No.
You're gonna say this every episode to try to I don't know what the psychology term is, but you're trying to persuade people's minds away from what really started it all, which was me. So it's fine if you want to jump on my bandwagon, that's okay. I'll let you aboard. There's plenty of room. But
I
don't act
don't
like you were first to the line.
no, I don't think he was your favorite rookie quarterback coming out.
It was.
I thought it was Bryce Young.
No, I hated Bryce Young. Bryce Young's 5'8". I knew Bryce Young wasn't going to be great. So I was on CJ Stroud, like, and so
2019.
I don't know what episode we talked about this, and I wish I could look back, but It's gonna be tough to listen back to every single episode until I can find it.
You can look back, dude. It's probably that very first episode.
We should have done a better job of time stamping things.
As in, we say me.
Have you no me last year too? Have you ever like listened to like a big podcast where like you can toggle through and it says
Yeah.
like what topic they're talking about? I have no idea how to do
YouTube
that
will
though.
do that automatically for you, I think,
Oh,
sometimes.
do they?
Yeah. Maybe not on this, but like because it's a Zoom video that I'm uploading, but I think if you use like their app to record it, I think it like has AI listen to your voice or something and break it up.
Maybe we should start doing that.
Yeah, well,
But I didn't want
next
our
season.
fight.
Next
I didn't
season.
want our fight to take away from CJ Stroud and the Texans' success, D'Amico Ryan. So shout out the Texans.
I do got to say, I think the Broncos might sneak in to the
I could see
playoff.
it. They've been playing really well. Sean Payton turning the boys around. Russell Wilson.
Because after the outside looking in is the Bills, Colts, Broncos are the top next three that are first ones out, and I think
Bills have a really tough schedule coming up too.
yeah, beat the Jets this week, and then
I don't think the Colts will get in. I don't think the Bengals will get in now. The Raiders suck. Chargers are too far out, I think now. I think the Chargers have potential, but they're too far out. Jets suck, bad quarterbacks. Titans are bad, 3-7. Patriots, no shot in hell. So yeah, I agree with you.
The Bills have the Eagles this week. Yeah, you're right.
If I had to pick one team on the bubble to make it, it's for sure the Broncos.
Yeah,
Broncos
they've just
country.
been looking good.
Let's ride.
That's right, baby. Cortland Sutton looked really good.
Who do you have dropping out if you have the Ravens or if you have the
Steelers.
Broncos getting in? Steelers. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I think I'll be honest though. I think the Texans might drop out if the Colts get hot, because that's a oh no, who's winning that division?
The Jaguars.
Oh,
Jaguars are 7-3.
You're right.
And they might be on fraud watch for me. I don't know if I fully believe the Jaguars yet. Every time they played a good team, they've kind of shit the bed. Who they just get smoked by the Niners. They got smoked by the Niners at home. So that always makes you worried. Like they've beat a lot of like bad teams and lost to a couple good teams. So I like the Jaguars' potential, and they made it to the AFC Championship last year, right? They lost to the Chiefs in the championship.
Yep.
So I see their potential, but I don't see them being an actual threat. And that's kind of the same with the Dolphins.
Yeah, they haven't beat a winning team, I don't think.
But usually the AFC is like really strong, like 1-6 or 5. And now this year, like I'm scrolling through this, and I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen. Like I like the Ravens as a team. I like the Chiefs as a team. A lot of these other teams have some flair to them, but like, the Bills are on the bubble, the Bengals are on the bubble, the Chargers are on the bubble, where at the beginning of the season, everyone's probably putting those teams in the playoff hunt. So
yeah. Real quick, Dave, give us your Thanksgiving plans.
Jackie and I are working, so we have to work on Thanksgiving. We work Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we're staying in Omaha, but we are gonna have a nice dinner at Jackie's house. So what is your guys' plan?
We're going to Des Moines. We're going down to my grandma's Wednesday night because it cuts an hour off the drive, and then we're leaving Saturday or Thursday morning at like 5:30.
Are you meeting Carla's family there or something?
Yeah, her brother and sister-in-law just bought a house in like West Des Moines, right?
Very nice.
Yeah,
I love Des Moines, so enjoy your time there.
Oh, we're gonna enjoy it. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your loved ones, and may all your wishes come true.
Yeah, you too. Take a couple hours of PTO and drive over to Omaha. Say hi.
Okay, all right. Yeah,
all right.
Next time we will. It's just not in the plans.
Yeah, have a great Thanksgiving. Yeah, we'll see you next year.
I'll talk to you next week.
All right, bye.